Hey, how you doing? All right, everyone. Well, today I got Angelina White, and she's a candidate for Justice of the Peace, District 2, Benton County. And I think I'll bring her up here, and she can introduce herself to everybody. Yeah, I know. I'm looking over here. That's just the way I have my tripod set up. I can't show you the other way, so that's what I got. Here you go. There you go, Angelina. How you doing?
Hi there. How are you doing, Matt?
Good, good.
Good.
So, yeah, I guess why don't you give us a little introduction about yourself?
Absolutely. Well, like I said, my name is Angelina White. I am running for Justice of the Peace in Benton County's District 2, which serves the southeast portion of Rogers from Oak down to Price Lane, 13th out towards the lake, and it kind of like expands as you head out towards the lake. I have a background, my degree is in organizational leadership, but I have a background in several different industries, including insurance, education, and administration. So, and I've also served on several nonprofit boards as well, including in treasury roles. So I have a lot of experience in a lot of different areas that make me really excited and feel like I'm really prepared for this position. And I'm very excited to talk to folks and just get to know them.
Yeah, well, I've noticed you've got a pretty good social media presence. So thank you very much for talking to me. I
Yeah,
mean, seeing you out everywhere, I've noticed you and a whole bunch of other candidates have gotten together, which I really like to see. And
absolutely.
you're doing drives and you're just out there. So yeah, thank you for that. I'm glad you're out here with the constituents because I look around for Republicans and I just don't see any. I finally found some information on your opponents and stuff like that. But anyway, that's for another.
Yeah,
I don't want to get into that right now. But
yeah.
so yeah, but I mean, so yeah, that's all good.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I care a lot about my community. That's actually a large part of why I decided to run in the first place. Was I was very aware of immigration activity and things that were happening in our community here in Rogers. And there was a post by AIRE, which is the Alliance for Immigrant Respect and Education, asking for people to come and speak at quorum court because in Benton County we participate in a higher tier of immigration collaboration than what is required at the state level under state law. And when I attended that first meeting and saw how our justices acted towards people speaking during public comment who simply disagreed with them, most of them were completely ignoring the people who spoke. Several of them were on their phones. One of them was playing a game on his phone, which was incredibly upsetting. He is not on the court anymore. Um, just seeing that was incredibly disappointing and upsetting. And I had always had this idea in my head of what an elected official should look like, what they should be. And at the bare minimum, it should be someone who is willing to listen to the people that they represent. And I wasn't seeing that. And when I sat there in that meeting and I was so frustrated, I was like, I know I can at least do that better than what I am seeing right now.
right, right.
And then I filed to run the next month.
Yeah, it's kind of how I fell into doing this too. I just got tired of the same old, same old. Something had to
Yeah,
give, you
yeah,
know,
absolutely.
and I'm very happy that a whole bunch of other people started to step up too, yourself included,
Yeah,
because that's what we need. I'm kind of
absolutely.
tired of really old people trying to run stuff they don't know anything about. They're not up to where to run up to 2026, maybe
Absolutely.
1926. But
Yeah. Well, and I don't expect my elected official to necessarily know everything about everything. No one can be an expert in everything, but I do expect them to listen to people who are experts. I expect them to seek out that information before they make decisions. If they know something is not in their wheelhouse for like
right,
for whatever reason,
exactly.
I expect them to look at the data,
Hmm.
and I expect them to listen to their constituents who are saying, this is how this impacts our community. This is how your decision is impacting other people, and take that into consideration and at least answer for it, right? I don't expect every elected official to do things I necessarily agree with, regardless of their party. But I do believe whether you are elected by a landslide vote or you have a razor thin margin, you are representing everybody in that district and you have to answer to everybody in your district and you serve everybody.
Well, now that's a perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about here, because then how did 287 get going? How did that get passed? You know, because it is. I mean, I think tomorrow night at Quorum Court, that's the final, because they voted for the money already last week or so. So the money's already been approved,
Yeah.
and really, so we need to. We really, I don't.
So
The people, they
so
know the people
the
that want this.
yeah, the people have been speaking every month.
Mhm.
So brief recap, 287G, there's 3 tiers of collaboration, and it's a program that essentially allows local, county, state level law enforcement to perform certain duties of ICE officers, right? The lowest tier is state mandated for county and state level law enforcement officers, and that's the WSO model, and it just allows them to serve a warrant on somebody who is in the jail currently, that already has deportation orders. That
Mhm.
is what's state mandated. In Benton County, we had been signed on to the jail enforcement model, which was the mid-tier level, where if somebody ended up in our county jail and there was suspicion that they were undocumented for whatever reason, then an ICE investigation could start being performed by one of our Benton County officers. So we actually saw in Benton County between, I believe it was January and October of 2025, our jail accounted for 4% of the national deportations under these types of programs, just in Benton County alone. And we have less than 1/10 of 1% of the total US population. So we already know that has a huge impact on our community. That is a lot of people who are suddenly being pulled into our county jail and disappeared very quickly. And a lot of times they have no criminal charges. A lot of
Mhm.
times they are deported before they have a chance to. Sheriff Holloway has signed the task force agreement, which is the
Here, hang on
highest
one second.
tier.
Hang on one sec,
No one
okay?
asked for that. Yeah.
Hang on one sec. I lost you real quick.
Okay.
Do you see your screen's black?
I can see you.
Hang on. Let me see if I can adjust you here real quick. Because we were losing your signal here for a minute.
Oh
Like you
no.
went through a tunnel or something. No, that's all right. I'll bring myself up there. Anyway, we can hear you. It's all right. I hear you just fine.
Okay. Let me see. Let me try switching it to instead of my Wi-Fi. Let me see if I can switch.
Yeah, you're doing really good, and it looked like maybe your signal just drifted off. You froze for a second, and you came back. All right, sorry about that. We just had a little technical difficulty, so we're just going to continue where we left off. So yeah, go ahead, Angela.
Got it. So Benton County had been participating at the mid-tier of 287G, the jail enforcement model. Community members had been asking for months to step down to what is state mandated, the WSO model. And instead, Sheriff Holloway signed a task force agreement, which is the most aggressive form of ICE collaboration for any
Right.
local or state level law enforcement agency to sign on with ICE. And under this agreement, based on what was stated at Finance Committee when this ordinance was presented, they are required to create a fund where the money that they get paid through this
Mhm.
task force agreement can go. So they essentially perform whatever the duties are. They request reimbursement from the federal government, from ICE and DHS, and then there has to be a bucket in the county budget for that to go to. And so the quorum court at Finance Committee agreed to push this ordinance forward to the next meeting, the general meeting, which is tomorrow night, the 23rd of July. My understanding, because there is an emergency clause in there, and Justice Rosenbaum had asked the question of if that emergency ordinance meant that they would be skipping the 3 readings, which is
Oh,
readings they normally do.
right. 3
Um,
readings. Right.
yes. When I went back and rewatched, because I wasn't able to attend Finance Committee this time, the way it was explained was that emergency ordinance just allows the treasurer to immediately set up the fund once it is approved by the quorum court. So they
Mhm.
should still have the 3 readings. So tomorrow night should be reading number 1.
Reading
And then it
one.
would be
Okay.
August and September. And then the September meeting would be when they vote on it. And then the very next day, the next business day, the treasurer could set up the account based on that emergency clause, based on what was said at Finance Committee. Now, if that ends up being incorrect, I don't know, but that is my understanding, and based on the clarification Justice Rosenbaum had requested, that was what was explained. And I did feel like she made a very good point that she didn't feel like it necessarily was an emergency that would necessitate skipping 3 readings, which I very much agree with her. I feel like the public should have the full 3 readings to have input and provide feedback on their thoughts. Especially because we have told them many times we don't want them doing the jail enforcement model. So to step up to something even higher is in direct opposition to what people have been asking for months. So.
Right. Wow. This whole
Yes.
287 thing, there's nothing about it. I just can't believe that they even, because if I'm not mistaken, it was unanimous. Everyone voted in favor of it.
They all voted to put the ordinance through to the general meeting. And what that just means is the ordinance can be read and then voted on in the normal process that they follow, right? So they haven't officially voted on the ordinance. I fully expect every single one of them to vote yes. I believe they will, based on how they have reacted to public comment and the direct responses I've received from several of them regarding my stance on this issue. What I found most interesting, though, was Justice Jones had asked Sheriff Holloway to come up and speak during Finance Committee and clarify that they have no control over the signing of these agreements, that Sheriff Holloway has free reign to sign this agreement and the quorum court has no power, is right. What he was saying in this moment. And Sheriff Holloway affirmed that he is the only one who gets to sign this agreement. And that is true. He gets to sign this agreement. However, the quorum court is the one that has to establish this fund, right?
Right.
They are the ones having to do this. They do not have to vote yes to accepting those funds.
Exactly.
They have a choice. If Sheriff Holloway wanted to sign that agreement and the justices said, we don't think that's appropriate, especially because you are saying your jail is overcrowded and you don't have space to put the people who you feel are a threat to our community, and you're asking for a jail expansion at this point. I think those are very valid things to say, hang on now. Is this the right thing for us to be doing? You're saying you don't even have room for the people who you are supposed to be keeping in jail.
And there was a much better financial way to make that space available too, if that's what they really wanted to do. There were other options.
There are. And the jail expansion is another issue that I feel really strongly about, that myself and another candidate, Malia Gretzmeyer for JP, she and I attend these quorum court meetings. That was how both of us ended up deciding to run, was we were showing up as citizens and really disappointed in what we saw and felt we could do a better job. But we attended a committee of the whole meeting in March and found out about a jail expansion plan that we had not heard from anywhere else. That wasn't shared publicly anywhere other than the agenda just a few hours before the meeting that happened. And that plan is at least a $20 million expansion for a misdemeanor pod that will cost us millions of dollars annually for 286 misdemeanor beds is the plan. And voters in Benton County have twice voted down bond measures to expand the jail. So this is not something the voters want. This is going to come out of our county reserves.
Oh, I agree.
Money that we save up. And it's a huge upfront cost, and it's a huge continuing cost.
The people have said what they wanted. I've been there too. People spoke up and said they don't want this at all.
Absolutely. And there are things that if the issue is truly that we need more space in our jail, right? There are things we could invest in that are less expensive and reduce the need for jail beds while actually stabilizing our community and reducing recidivism rates. So things like pretrial services when it comes to like mental health court, substance abuse court, veterans court, we already have those established, and we get a lot of grants that we apply for those. Just Joseph Bollinger, one of the JPs, is pretty consistent about putting up resolutions to apply for those types of grants from other sources. But as far as putting our county funds towards these things that we agree help reduce recidivism and lessen the pressure on our jail, we aren't actively funding those in ways that we could, and that would eliminate the need for several of those beds and save
But
our county considerable money.
but it means we need a part two.
Okay, yeah,
Because I'm gonna have to cut us off. We're over 15 as it is.
that's
Um,
okay.
I would like to very much do a part two if you're interested in doing a part two. We can do a part two.
I'm up for that. Absolutely, yeah.
And yeah, I only cut you off because you're still. I can hear you fine, but you're still blacked out.
I wonder if my phone's just not charged enough, if it's giving me a
That's
hard
very
time.
possible. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, thank you so much. It's been great talking to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hope to do it again for sure.
that would be great. I would love to do this anytime.
All right, I'll talk to you next time, Angelina.
Sounds good.